Ladies and gentlemen, so as of last night, the Dan Bongino Show has received a strike from YouTube, meaning their content will be taken off the air. They're being demonetized. Now, Dan Bongino had a response to this. It's here in this Blaze article. I'm going to share it with you in a second, but I think this probably has more to do with than what we think. So, from Blaze Media, Alex Nitzberg. Quote, kiss my A. Dan Bongino unleashes on YouTube over the big tech giant's temporary suspension of his channel. Let's do something else here. So I'm going to read everything of this I can because YouTube will probably give me a strike if I read it. But conservative commentator Dan Bongino sent a scathing email to YouTube after the company temporarily suspended his channel, concluding his message by writing respectfully kiss my A before signing his name. A YouTube spokesman told the Daily Beast, we removed the video for violating our policies on COVID-19 misinformation. I'm not going to read the rest of that sentence because they have these little algorithms that pick up, and then next thing you know, hey, I get my first strike. I already got a warning. The big tech behemoth also suspended the channel's monetization for repeatedly violating our advertiser-friendly guidelines on harmful and dangerous acts. One of the penalties for a first strike is that a channel cannot upload videos for 1 week. Here's what we're going to do, people. Let's keep this 100. Here's what we're going to do on this. The Blaze has a lot of pop-ups. I am going to make a whole different video on Rumble. So you're going to see it. It's going to be the same title. It's going to be Dan's face on there, hopefully, if I get the thumbnails right. It's going to be the same title, but it's going to be a completely different video with a whole different thought process because I don't have to worry about getting censored on Rumble, which goes to Dan's point. In his reply email, he informed them, I'm an investor in Rumble. I'm taking my content over there. When I come back from this, I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying. To be honest, he's been saying it for months. Here's the bigger problem, though. Here's why I want your opinion in the comments. This is more of a how do you feel type video. Do you feel big tech has gone too far? I mean, they had the Section 230 protection, which means if Dan comes on and says something, you can't sue YouTube. You can only sue me or my producer Zoe. But I'm telling you now, she's not going to give up those milk bone treats very easily. But if they can ban him for this, what happens when they declare, because remember here last year, if you had firearms on your channel was demonetized. So what happens to all my hippie friends out there that love the devil's lettuce, right? When they decide marijuana is harmful or dangerous. Or when they decide if you have a whiskey tasting channel, it's harmful or dangerous. Or you have a axe throwing channel, they decide it's harmful or dangerous. Or you start a fundraiser for Israel and they decide that's harmful or dangerous. Or for Palestine, and they decide it's harmful or dangerous. See, that's the thing. This is I think it's gone too far. Now I realize people are going to say they're a private company, they can do what they want, and you're absolutely positively right. Here's the problem though. Doing what you want in your own business has consequences. It's like I said about G4 TV yesterday. Business serves one purpose, to make money. Of course, in the most morally acceptable way possible. But at the core, it serves one purpose, that is to make money. So if you're losing people like Joe Rogan, Dan Bongino, I know Tim Pool is talking about striking out on his own. So if you're losing people like that, how's that going to affect your bottom line? You're appealing to the woke crowd and to the leftists, and you can't say this, and you can't do that. And I forget which big tech companies it was. Remember, they were on trial in Congress just a few months, or 2-3 years ago. And Congress was asking, there was a whole big investigation. Why aren't you stopping child sex trafficking on your channels? They're communicating through your channels. They're advertising through your channels. And they said, oh, we can't do it. Antifa, there was a whole big thing about that. I remember Senator Ted Cruz was asking them, Why are you allowing Antifa to meet on your channels and arrange these riots that are killing people and causing billions of dollars of damage? $6 billion, I do believe. We can't do it. But Dan Bongino comes out and says something. You're right on top of it. Something doesn't ring true here, people. Something does not ring true to me. Maybe it does to you, and I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It happens. Ask Tammy; she'll tell you. The doesn't happen very often, but it happens. But have they gone too far? And what do they get to decide? It just doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. If you have all these giant conservative figures leaving and going to other platforms, their fans are going to follow them to those platforms. You get stuck with AOC, who can barely string two words together. Joe Biden, who can't remember his name and eats ice cream all day. Probably because of his false teeth. I don't even know. Anyway, that's what you're going to be stuck with. It just doesn't make sense from a business standpoint. Like I said yesterday about the whole G4 thing, you can hate me as long as you subscribe. I don't care. Talk shit all day long, as long as you're a subscriber. Have they gone too far? I want your honest opinion on that. Should they even be doing this? And we have to look at the long-term implications. What happens when they come after Officer Tatum, Anthony Brian Logan, James O'Keefe? I almost said Joe Rogan, but he's over on Spotify. Or what happens when more people say, screw it, I'm going over to Spotify? That's where Joe Rogan went. Dan Bongino has a show on there. That's where all the money is. That's where all the money's going. What happens when they go there? And you have to also think about this. Is this a election strategy? Now follow me. I'm asking, is this an election strategy? And there's a reason I'm asking that question, right? The 2020 or the midterms for 2022 are coming up. Then you got the presidential election. Do they just want to take down as many conservative voices as possible? It's funny because Tammy was talking about that. She was like, yeah, they're going to take down all you conservative channels. And sure enough, Tim Pool said it is on one of his episodes. I went back to try to find it this morning, but it's early. I haven't found it. But he said the same thing. It's like they're coming after the conservative channels. And maybe that's what they're doing. They know Democrats stand no chance. Biden's approval percentage is 33%. Nixon had a higher approval percentage. I think Kamala's is either right below or right above his, but they're about the same level. They stand no chance in 2024. Zoe and one of my cats could literally run against them and win at this point. That's what those stats mean. So I'm really asking myself, why would you chase off your biggest producers? Some of your biggest producers. It's really weird. But what happens when they, like I said, they go after like Ripperfy 9, Black Conservative Perspective, James O'Keefe, Steven Crowder, who I don't particularly like, but hey, that's his business. Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters are pretty much isolated because they're at Fox. But they want to get rid of that base voice. Because understand, without that little undercurrent of YouTube voices, you might not necessarily know things like Hunter Biden being in a humongous deal and Joe Biden withholding $1 billion in aid to make sure he was protected and his investigation stopped. You wouldn't know about his laptop, right? You wouldn't know about the pictures on his laptop. You wouldn't know about his business dealings in China. You wouldn't know about him getting a $3 million ring from a Chinese diplomat's wife. You wouldn't know about that stuff. So this stuff is very important. Let's keep it going. Hey, if you have a favorite YouTube artist, make sure you get out there and support him today. Today is Support Your Favorite YouTube Artist Day. I hope I've done you some service here. Kind of explain to you what's going on. It also could be Dan Bongino's Driving Up Business for Rumble. And like I said, over on Rumble, I'll read this whole story. I'll go over the whole thing. I'm gonna give you my true feelings on all this because Rumble does not censor conservative voices. So, thank you for watching this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, especially in these days and times, keep your paddle dry, do what you got to do.